Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, issue number 1, or as I'm going about it, Scarlet Witch issue 11. That's right, it's back. Steve Orlando is back on Wanda Maximoff. We've been off for about 2 months. Has it been 2 months now? I think that's what it's been. I talked about this book all of last year. Scarlet Witch by Steve Orlando, my favorite comic book of 2023. It was everything I wanted to revitalize Wanda Maximoff. I really dug it. And when they announced this book, which was just issue 11, that's what it is, but it's renumbering to number 1 so we can sell it a little easier to new people. Now we're going to see Pietro become a fully realized character in this book as well. He appeared in a couple issues of the Scarlet Witch book. I think it was the earlier issues. Now he's here to do something fun. And I love these characters. I love the way Orlando handles them. And this is coming from a guy who never thought in his lifetime he would say a Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver book would be at the top of his list for excitement. I never thought I would say that, but we're here. And we're setting up a lot of stuff that is evocative of the things we've already established in previous Scarlet Witch Orlando books, which is really cool. So this issue opens up, and we're seeing Scarlet Witch is fighting like a weird spaceship called the Sky Piercer. It's like a dimensional scanning station it's hurling towards Lot Kill. And we're on the ground of Earth. We see Darcy's trying to like get everybody away. And we also see that Pietro's there to help out. So he's like moving everybody away from like the incoming fall. Wanda uses her power to atomize the ship, so it's just the people that are in it falling out now. And Pietro creates like a little tornado or something to like keep them in place and send them to the ground. And they save the day. We wrap that up pretty quick. It's like, good job, bro. Thanks, sis. Yay, yay. We go back to the shop because there is something waiting for them there. And we see that Darcy has a package with the name Wanda and Pietro engraved on the front. So they save that problem. They go back to the shop, and Wanda's like, well, this is like handcrafted. It's beautiful, but it's locked. So maybe we should try to open it. What's that going to be? Who knows what it could be? It looks like, according to Pietro, he knows the handwriting is from their adopted father, Magneto. I don't know what the current lore is for like what their parentage is. Cool, Magneto sent them a box. Magneto is still dead according to this book. The resurrection of Magneto has happened or is happening currently. I don't read the X-Men stuff. I want to go back and maybe do a big video on all the X-Men stuff when it's done, but it's just like, there's too much going on there. But they got a box for Magneto. Pietro wants to open it up to see what it is. Wanda just uses like a hex, pops the lid off, and out comes a note. And she takes the note because, you know, Pietro's too cool. He doesn't need to read the last words of his not father. But Wanda starts to read it, and she's like, oh, this is, So she kind of like crumples it up before Pietro can see it, and he's like, come on, okay, if it is something dire and interesting, you have to show me, okay? Let me see. And she's like, no, I don't think you should see this. Essentially, like, carrying the burden of what was on the note for herself, and she burns it with her magic, and that causes the siblings just to yell at each other, which I really like. You know, this book has been a lot about Wanda controlling her emotion and her power. She has Scython living inside of her, and it's about like, everyone is telling me I am going to lose control, but I never do. And then the moment she makes like a big sister decision with her brother, suddenly she gets unhinged. So Pietro didn't initially want to read the letter. The moment he can't read the letter, he gets really pissed off. Like, why would you do that to me? It's not your right or your responsibility to tell me what I can and cannot see. Everyone's trying to tell me like, oh, my sister, the Chaos God, she's so strong, she can do all this. But she doesn't have to speak for me, okay? Magneto's not our dad. I can handle these things. You don't have to control me like this. You don't have to be like mom towards me, okay? You don't have to treat me like a child. And Wanda, she's trying to take the higher ground, be like, what I'm doing is for your benefit. You don't need to see those words. And then it just turns to the two of them yelling for literally 2 pages. And the argument ends with like, Pietro, you tricked me into doing a House of M. Why should I trust you with something you don't need? You can't comprehend it. It's just, you've had this conversation with your siblings. Like, they want to, like, protect you in a way that you don't like. They don't like that you're, like, patronizing you, and you're like, you're a child, you're never fully going to grow up and learn how to behave. And you're like, you don't have that responsibility just because I act differently. You don't have to treat me this way. Look, I have an older sister. I've had these conversations, you know? Like, I get it, you know? Pietro, very relatable in this book to me, because I'm just like, I can handle what you're trying to hide. You don't have to do this. He flies off the handle and then just runs away. And Wanda gets like, okay, I'm fine. But then she just like, this guy, he always does this. He just does this every time. It's just a scrap of paper in a box. Why does he have to overreact all the time? She starts like making like weird projections of like birds and stuff. And she's almost about to destroy the shop. And Darcy's like, this is about more than like the box, right? Like there's clearly decades of trauma packed in here. Like that's a lot. Okay. It's really cool and fun, and I like that the first issue of this book is essentially just Pietro and Wanda argue at each other like siblings, and then she has to go deal with some stuff. That's really good. So we see that Wanda kind of calms down, Darcy kind of helps her relax, and it's just like, okay, I need to know why this was sent to us, because if Magneto's dead, if this is like his box and his inscription, somebody else obviously sent it. So we should figure out what that is. As she's doing that, we cut to see that Pietro's just traveling across the world. He's running over oceans, just pissed off. He's looking at like just old haunts everywhere. He runs into like his nephew accidentally. And then Wanda tries calling him on the phone. He's like, typical of her wanting to talk at a time like this. So he throws his phone in the ocean and keeps going. And that's when we go back to Wanda, and she's like, okay, so I kind of know this spell. It's like I can track like where this box has been using those who had the power. It's like I can track the last person to hold the box with some magic, blah, blah, blah. If it was Magneto, then I'll know for a fact, but if somebody else touched it, then I'll know. So she's doing this spell, suddenly like a big angel appears from the box as she's touching it. She's like, wow, I see something so powerful, so big, it's so endless, it's endless, and she starts to get worried like this beautiful thing in front of her is starting to scare her. And as that's going on, we cut back to see what Pietro's doing, and he's running through the Northwest Territories, and we see a couple of gunmen with like weird masks like aiming a gun at him, and this entire time Pietro's just like, oh, she thinks a call would solve it. She knows that talking on the phone with me makes it feel like endless, because in my own type of speed force, it just feels like time never slows down. Everything sucks. He's about to like jump over like a gorge, and as he leaps, he gets shot by these gunmen, and he falls down. He's like, that's not a normal bullet. What's happening to me? I can't fall. I'm floating into space. What's going on? And they got the anti-gravity pellet attached to him. So that's how they're going to defeat Quicksilver. We then see a mustachio gentleman smiling because he's going to freeze to death and die. We cut back to the shop where we see Wanda's like, she got like a huge strain seeing like this endless thing that's awaiting for them at the end. And she's like, I don't know what that was. It felt so different. Like it made everything I've ever done feel pointless. Like, what was that? It was like such like a weird feeling. She's like, this box was a bomb sent to destroy me and tear my family apart. Like I could tell something was attached to it. I don't know what that was. And that is when Wanda herself gets hit with a dart and it affects her, and that is when we see the person that is here to attack Wanda is the Wizard. Classic comic book character, the Wizard. And she's like, you picked the wrong day to do this. And she defeats some of his people. And he's like, it's okay. You think my frightful 400 care? No, I got another 396. Look, just call me Wizard, okay? You don't have to call me Bentley. It's all good. I saw the same thing you saw, you know? So this is where I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So Bentley supposedly saw the same thing Wanda saw. Like the endless, the truth of the end, something at the very end. And he's like, well, I need to stop you and your brother from being associated with that end so I can have it. So there is something angelical and endless connecting Wanda, Pietro. At first I thought because it's the Wizard, it might be like magical based. But because we had to take out Pietro, it makes me think that maybe it's not magical based and it's more like mutant based, or at the very least like their lineage based. I don't know. So it sounds like someone wants to come for all of Wanda's family, including her kids. I'm going to guess that includes Pietro's daughter, maybe even Crystal, maybe that's what it's going to look like here. So we just have a little bit of a fight, and because Wanda got hit with like a weird dart, it's like a memory dart, so she can't remember certain spells, and the shop starts to go ablaze, and she tries to get Darcy out of there, and that is when, as Darcy gets to safety, we see Wanda goes full crazy. Her eyes start to glow. She wears a weird mask, letting Scython come out a bit. Your choices will have consequences, and she starts to beat him up and get a little too intense. You're like, hell yeah, let's go, Wanda. Beat up this prick. He's obviously working for somebody because he's like, I saw the truth, the empirical truth, and there is a grand design to things bigger than we can comprehend, and the chaos you spread simply can't be allowed. What's going on? What is Wanda associated with? Is Scython coming out in some form to destroy the world, and we're using Wizard to show that? Maybe. But then we just see, it looks like a water bubble forms around the shop to implode it, maybe to stop the fire. But that's where the book ends. And you see like, oh no, something's going on. Like, chaos is a choice. And that's when you kind of see like the Wizards working for some chaos magic thing. I don't know. We'll see what that's going to be. But the book ends, the shop's kind of like up in water or up in smoke, whatever you want to call that to be. And that's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. This feels like a continuation, which I do love. Well, being wholly original to itself, we have the problem. Somebody sent us a package. It might be Wizard, but the Wizard was obviously working for somebody else. We have tension between the twins. And Wanda's going to have to do some more magic stuff, and Quicksilver's going to have to, like, defend people, I'm guessing. How are we going to get him down? He's floating in space somewhere, probably. How are we going to save him? Who knows? Who knows? Might take forever. But maybe we'll get him. Maybe we'll get him. Hopefully. I liked it. I'm glad this book is back. I have so much fun with it every time it comes out. So, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, issue number 1. I am going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.